logo. It was such a fun logo. It draws
Spilling Ink has a great logo.
Yes.
I mean, the ink splatter that's been there for the, from the beginning, but the cat butt really.
Yep.
That's a conversation starter.
Yeah. That's a great way to start a live video talking about a cat butt.
I do have one of the old Spilling Ink, with the ink spill on it, but I don't have it up here in Maine. That's at home.
We'll have to pull it out for another show. Definitely.
Yeah, I don't know if it will fit.
Is that because you've lost weight?
No, because I bought it. I thought I bought it big enough, but those ran small.
Yeah, those are always the problem when you do like the merch store stuff. You never can guess until you've really tried it whether the sizing is going to be right.
Right. And this one, I love this one, so I might get one like this from the other stuff. So
okay,
I'll do that.
All right. Well, welcome everyone to another episode of Spilling Ink. We are the talk show that takes you behind the book to meet the authors and professionals in the publishing industry. And we've got a returning guest, one of our fan favorites. Hey, how are we doing, Derek?
Hey, I don't know about professional, but
we're happy to have you back. We always love it when you join us.
Good to be back. I even I was asked to do a little something, so I wrote up a little something. So I'm gonna sing a little something.
Ooh. Yay!
All right. These books, aren't they neat? With Dino-Rift, your collection's complete. It has time travel, dinosaurs, and wisecracking teenagers. I had to make a rhyme. And now it's time to chat with some friends on a show about books where the fun never ends. With Katie, Solitis, and Jane. What rhymes with Taylor? Let's get to the show. Talk writing and prose and poke some fun at our good friend Joe. Love you, Joe Compton. It's time to be with these authors and me on Spilling Ink.
That was good. That was good. You never disappoint.
I was hoping I could put Joe in there. I was like, they still do Go Indie now, right?
Yes, absolutely. And we got awesome. Rebecca in there. We got Julia. We got Anita.
Hello, Julia.
Guys. All of our friends.
Julia was the first person to pimp my book on TikTok.
Oh, nice.
One of the first people. Yeah.
Okay, I got to talk to you about Book Talk because yours are hilarious.
I just have fun with it. It's like throwing spaghetti at a wall, see what sticks.
But it's really creative. And I know Book Talk has taken off like quite a bit. It's become really influential. And when you go in there, you can waste so many hours on TikTok just watching
it's
all
true.
of them.
You just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. But, I find that Book Talk is full of all the trending books. So really trying to get yourself out there is interesting. I come at it from the cheeky perspective where I'll go on and be like, I'll look at their TBR list posts that they have and be like, you know what? You're missing a book that has dinosaurs, time travel, and young adult teen, like sweet teen romance. And some respond and they're like, hey, that sounds pretty good. Other people just don't respond because they're trying to plug their own stuff, whatever. But it's fun when you get someone that has a good sense of humor. So
we're gonna have to pull up one of your TikToks here, I think, and put it on the screen.
The one that got the most views that I'm surprised by is the one where I was making my breakfast, and by the time I pull the sandwich up to my mouth, my book is between the two pieces of bread.
That's cool.
I'm gonna try and find one of these while we're talking. But while I'm doing that, I want you to tell us about your brand new book and how you came to write about dinosaurs shifting from the superheroes that you were writing before.
The end of the Ultimate Agent series, I inserted a little bit of time travel into that. And what I could do with that, I was going, you know what, there's so many things I could do with this. And ever since I read Jurassic Park when I was younger, I read almost the entire Dinotopia series when I was a kid, which both of those were big influences for me. Then Dino-Rift came into the ideas, and I was thinking, okay, dinosaurs have been done. time travel has been done. So how do I take it and turn it on its head? I was thinking, what if everything we've been told about dinosaurs by archaeologists and paleontologists was wrong? And what if man had access to that information via time rifts? Because of Michael Crichton, and he's always asking the ethical questions, I kind of went into a deep dive on, what would humans do at the way society is today? Would they take dinosaurs through the rift and then sell it on the black market for either a pet or for food? We probably would.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happens if a couple of teenagers just kind of stumble across Soracor, as the company's called, and realize that they're actually up to no good?
Mm-hmm.
And then they get thrown through the time rift and have to find their way back home.
Wow, that's
So
cool.
it the way it came to me, and I'm a total pantser when it comes to writing, like plot, what is that? But
That's me.
yeah, what is a plot? I want to surprise myself.
At the beginning or the end, and then go from there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I always knew little points I wanted to get to, but the in between, I'd rather just surprise myself, because if I can surprise myself, hopefully it surprises the reader.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Dino-Rift was so much fun to write. I loved writing the banter. Even my mom, who read the book, she said, it's funny reading this book, just and the banter between Cameron and Vivian. It's almost like I'm reading a conversation between me, she said, you and Alicia, my wife, because she's kind of the sarcastic but still like voice of reason. I'm just Mr. Silly all the time, like TV show references, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Which I do have the pop culture references in the book, which were a ton of fun, because as people are reading them, they would message me and go, dude, you put something about Firefly in this. This is awesome. And I'm like, well, it's one of my favorite shows. I have to.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I've been dropped.
Thank you, Julia's daughter. Oh, man.
I love
That's
that.
awesome.
Taking creativity to a new level and just exploring the what ifs. I love that.
Yeah. Kind of like the Marvel what if.
Yeah.
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 Now,
So-
and you're. Oh, go ahead, Jane.
I was going to say, so one of my big time travel, actually movies, not books, was Butterfly Effect. Do you have cause and effect of being back there, or are you just pulling them forward and seeing what changes, or if there are changes?
That's a great question. Throughout the Ultimate Agent series, there is something called Galaxidium that I kind of came up with, which was essentially the mineral that plays with space-time a little bit.
Okay.
I haven't decided whether in the future I'm going to make it that it's always been here or came from somewhere else.
Ooh,
But
okay.
oh, there it is.
Yes,
She's getting ready.
TikTok.
She's getting ready. And I always thought it was such an interesting idea, because I used the Galaxidium as the reason why teleportation was able to work in my books for the specialist, one of the characters. But also Galaxidium also caused certain beings, I won't say which ones because spoilers, made it to Earth.
Okay.
Which end up in the Ultimate Agent series. So there's a lot of connecting things, but I also thought, what if this wasn't just a window to the Earth in time?
Yeah.
What if it also sent you into a past or a future that was of another dimension from our own?
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
And there's a little something in my book where one of the characters says, I think we just saw maybe another dimension. So it opens up so many different things, and it'll allow me to keep everything in the same universe, which is basically my own MCU by now.
Yep.
Because Dino-Rift is in the same universe as UA, and there's a few things in the pipeline that I'm working on.
Very nice.
So,
very nice.
Yeah.
Let's see what you got teed up.
Here we go.
All right, let's see if this will play.
All right, eggs are done. I need to play.
Who did this?
Well, I mean, they are clean reads to begin with. I need to play.
I love them. They're so cute. They're quick and they're funny. You get a nice little laugh, and you do something typically unexpected.
Yeah.
Not what you want, not what you expect to see happen, and that surprise gives you the giggle, and you just go with it. I love that.
I try to at least give everyone something to smile about every day because we all need that right now.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd say especially now because it's been so negative lately. So any reason to smile, any reason to laugh, any reason to look on the funny side of things.
Yeah. And it makes me happy that people love the banter between the characters, and even Cameron just has some one-liners in this that are they're perfect. It's like I have to read it to my wife before I even get on to the next chapter, and she'll tell me what works and what doesn't. And
That's nice.
if I can make her laugh or giggle or chuckle with something, then I feel like I've hit it.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Tough crowd then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, she grew up on British humor and quick humor and things like that. So gotta be quick with her.
Love British humor.
We watch a lot of Doctor Who at one point, and then we started watching Black Books, which is a great show. Love Black Books. Red Dwarf is the one my wife is taking me through right now.
Okay. Right.
I love it.
I'm going to date myself. I grew up on my dad watched Benny Hill.
There you go.
So yes, between that and Monty Python.
Oh.
Yes.
He doesn't love Monty Python.
I know.
Course.
I'm dating. I'm really
but he's
dating
got like
myself.
Oh, now speaking of your book though too, because that cover, and let me see if I can pop a picture up here so we can get a really good look at it. That cover is stunning.
Chef's kiss to Molly.
Yeah, she did a great job. What did you tell her as the inspiration? Because I know I've worked with her before, and she's like, give me some ideas on what you're looking for. And then she takes it and she always throws back something surprising. I told her I wanted to at least have something where the dinosaurs are in modern day and the teenagers are in prehistoric time. And that was it. And she just ran with it. And I was, when she first sent that to me, and I've done this before, I cried. I was so happy because it was so beautiful that I cried when I saw it, because I was just going, how is it just it's amazing how much a cover makes things so much more real. Mm-hmm.
And you're like, yeah, this is actually happening. I actually wrote a book. How did that happen?
And she appreciates it too. And she sends you something, you're like, that's it, don't change a thing, it's perfect.
It's perfect.
Yeah. And I told Molly, sorry, Jane.
The cover come first or the book came first?
The book came first, and then I forget when she sent that to me, but yeah, the cover came after, but it was at a time when I was in a little bit of a writer's block.
Yep.
With it, and just seeing the cover just gave me that fire under my butt.
Oh yeah. I can't lie.
It just And the fact that I can put my book side by side with Jurassic Park now.
Yes.
Was very nostalgia. And I don't know if you saw my live, Katie, but I cried like a baby during that too. I was blubbering. I was just like, oh, I knew this was going to happen, but I'm going to let it happen.
Do it. Yes.
No, even just the small little extra things that she did in there for me, like the scene changes. She did like time rift electricity coming through the chapter header.
Oh, that's nice.
Let's see if I can find the scene changer here. The scene changer is essentially, I can show it here too because it's right on the spine, but it's one of those.
Oh,
nice.
Between each scene change. And she did that for the Ultimate Agent series too. Like she did the little UA symbol as it's the details that make it.
Yep.
Special.
And I love it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It just adds that extra oomph. And it works. Now, you were talking before we started recording about the drawings that are inside too.
Yes. So my friend Julie, who doesn't live very far from me, she is an amazing artist. She's done some Ultimate Agent just stuff that I asked her to do. She did the scene where Brett and Devin are saving the bridge in Australia for me, which looked like right out of a comic book, which was awesome.
Nice.
But I had asked her to do different dinosaurs because there's a character in the book that he's a scientist that was thrown through a rift because he knew too much.
Mhm.
So I won't get too much further into that, but he has a journal that he gave to his daughter before that all happened. So I wanted it to kind of be like the journal that they had, but also for the reader. And when she sent me every single one of these, I was just like, this is perfect. This is so, because reading Michael Crichton books, he would do the same thing. He would throw in graphs, or, I just finished the Andromeda Evolution, and he actually had a picture of the International Space Station and all the modules. So as you're reading what's happening, you can picture it by going back to the picture and go, okay, he's just gone from here to here.
Oh, nice.
I love that kind of stuff. It makes it a more immersive read. And I wanted that for Dino-Rift.
Yeah, it does. It really does pull you in.
Yeah.
I love
So,
that.
Yeah.
It's nice when a plan comes together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now that you're done. Oh, sorry, Jane.
Go ahead. No, okay.
I was going to say, now that you're done writing it, obviously at the end of a story, there's always that bittersweet moment of it's over. What do I do next? And you told us before the show started that you've already been getting requests from fans, from readers who are like, and when's the next book coming out?
Yeah. So it's being written, 5 chapters deep. Honestly, it was 2 weeks before release day. And it was just like, you know what? This was supposed to be a standalone, and now the characters are talking and yelling at me again, and I feel like there is a direction I could possibly take this and just end it as a duology. But yeah, we'll see where it takes, because honestly, like I said, with the time rifts and everything and possible other dimensions, I already have another book I'm working on too that kind of takes another aspect of that, where it's elements of 3 time periods mashed into one.
Ooh,
that's neat.
The only details I can give of that is a 7th century English woman with an android-run dystopian future and a saber-toothed tiger.
Ooh,
so,
all
yeah,
right.
I'm very excited because there's also going to be some inspiration from Phantom of the Opera.
Ooh.
So it's not a musical book, but elements of that.
Is it a kid-friendly book, Rebecca asked?
It definitely is. I actually had someone just say today on a Facebook post that it's great for kids, but also engaging enough for adults.
Oh, those are good books.
So I like it when everyone can read it and enjoy it. So
I love that. Oh,
yeah.
So you've been doing lots of good stuff.
Honestly, I try. And with the one TikTok I recently did, I asked people about.
We've got right from the 11-year-old's mouth here. Not a lot of books stick to me, but I really loved your book. I'm excited for the next one. All right, there you go.
Aww.
If that doesn't just make your day right there.
It's gonna make me cry.
I was gonna say it's gonna make him cry.
You know, I said it to someone earlier today that you can, when you're a kid and you read your first book or the first book that you fall in love with, the fact that you can do that for another kid, oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a special feeling. I don't even know how to describe that.
Oh yeah.
I think we all know. We know that first book that really, really got us loving reading and wanting to read more and wanting to explore different worlds. And it's an escape for a lot of kids. It's an escape from the harshness of reality, and they need that.
Yeah.
You're providing that. Like that's got to make you feel just all the warm and fuzzies.
I swear the onions my wife was cutting up earlier have come over from the no, that's very sweet. Thank you, Julia's daughter. I don't know your first name, but thank you. That's so sweet.
Oh, lemon drop. That's her call. That's her call sign.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, it's been a fun ride with this book. I have to say, the release of this one has done the best.
There's some
Oh,
interesting
wow.
shit. From Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe to Mars Attack.
Interesting. I didn't know there was a Mars Attacks book.
There is.
Really?
There is. Yeah.
I got to find that now. Yep.
Oh, Avalon. What a
Avalon.
pretty name.
Love that.
Oh.
I may just have to put that in a book.
Oh. It's a good name.
I love that name. That is cool. No, yeah, it's I'm tearing up too.
Do you ever find yourself collecting names? Like you run across somebody with a pretty name, you're like, I'm gonna remember that.
Well, interesting you say that because I had a guy come into our store probably a year or so ago, and his name is Blake Aerosmith. I was like, that is like arrow as in like bow and arrow.
Yeah.
I was like, that is a cool name, but where am I going to use it? It's like, he doesn't know me from Adam, right?
Right.
But it's like, I'm going, you know what? That just might be the villain's name of the next Dino-Rift book.
There's a whole series for Mars Attacks? Hold on.
What?
That I did not know.
What?
That's
That's
cool. Have
cool.
to find this.
Interesting. No, but yeah, it's been a great book. I actually said to Molly, for what I've made in paperback sales, at some points exceeds what I've done for ebooks.
Wow.
And I think that's also largely because of TikTok, because everyone wants that physical book.
Mhm.
And once they see the cover, as we see Katie oogling over it, people are like, I need that book in that cover.
Yes, I need that on my shelf. I need that on my shelf. Yes.
Well, didn't I say it last week? I'm a sucker for hardbound books that are beautiful. And even if I have the book in other formats, if I find it in hardbound, it's getting bought. It's going on my shelf.
And you know what's weird is every copy that I've ordered from Amazon so far has been perfect.
Oh, that never happened.
It never happens.
Don't jinx it. You just jinxed it.
We'll see. We'll see. I will keep you updated. I already got my last shipment in, and they're all perfect. So
Did he just say Mercury retrograde was happening? Damn it!
Monday.
By the gods.
I was like, "Thank you, KDP." Yeah.
So
It's one of those dream books.
So how I'm a TikTok virgin. Okay.
Okay.
So explain to me how it works. And
So TikTok is very video based.
yeah.
Basically, every post you make is video.
Okay.
Hashtags
sounds like short.
sometimes work. Yeah, well, you can make a video up to 3 minutes now.
Okay.
But the shorter the better, because everyone's attention span is pretty short these days. Yeah, you got to be like 3 seconds or they scroll. So you either got to pull something out that's just stupid funny, or really hook them with something interesting.
Okay.
Like any other social media, hashtags either work or they don't.
Okay.
And just pumping out content, which in the beginning I was maybe doing one video every couple days. There's the odd day where if I'm at work and there's not much going on, I'm just farting around the store, just okay, what can I film? But yeah, it's keeping up it's almost like a snowball effect. The more content you have, the more people are going to see your page and come visit you, follow them back if you want to, sort of idea. But it's a lot of fun. I mean, there's a lot of cat videos on TikTok, like every other social media.
Okay.
But Book Talk is huge.
Okay.
Book Talk is
Influential at
huge.
this point.
There's Book Talk, Writer Talk, Reader Talk, Author Talk.
Okay.
I'm probably missing something, but yeah, it's a very big book community.
Okay. That's
to the
me.
point
So.
where if you're looking on, you have KDP Rocket, right?
Me? Yes.
Yeah. So
I
if
think
you
so.
look
Yeah.
up TikTok as a keyword and check
Okay.
how popular of a keyword it is for Amazon, that's how influential it is.
Wait,
it
what?
translates really well over into keywords that you use when doing ads for Amazon.
Really?
It does.
I'm writing that down.
Yeah, I use KDP Rocket, and I'm regularly checking different keywords to see if I need to change things in my ads.
Interesting.
And I started looking at Book Talk, TikTok, and just seeing the derivatives of that and how many searches it shows on Amazon for keywords with TikTok or book talk in them. And it's like, oh, yeah, this is very influential.
Interesting. Yeah, it took me a little while to get the handle on TikTok because it's either you're really good at putting yourself out there or not.
Okay.
It's just, yeah, you really have to find your TikTok kind of wants you to have your own little lane and just always do kind of the same thing over and over again. But like I've got me singing on there. I've got me at my store doing stuff with my books. And yeah, I think someone early on said, why does TikTok always want to put us in a lane? It's like, just show us everything you got.
The corner.
Yeah.
Oh, if I sang, everybody would run.
No, everyone can sing.
Oh, no.
Everyone can sing, just in different keys.
Everyone can sing, not everyone wants to hear it.
Right.
Well, I was hoping Katie would sing the parody I was going to write.
But we don't want to lose all of our viewers.
Right. We love our viewers. We don't
I think you would get more. I think you'd get more.
Oh
yeah,
my.
No, the bucket I carry my tune in has holes in it.
I don't even have a bucket, Katie.
Yeah, just the handle.
Mine is like something out there. Here's the normal key. This is Jane. Off the page.
Yep.
So,
we can all sing.
When it comes to road trips, though, whoever is unfortunate enough to sit with me on a road trip, they're getting a front row seat.
Oh yeah. I started singing in the car the other day, and Derek goes, "What?" They looked at me. He goes, "What did you say?" I said, "I was singing." He just looked at me like I was like a stranger in the car. I can sing along to a song, and he's like, "Okay, right, really." He was not convinced.
That's awesome.
My kids are used to it. In fact, we share solos. I'm like, sing it, and I point to one of the kids and try and get them to join in with me.
And music is actually a big part of Dino-Rift too.
Oh, good.
I listen to a lot of indie music. I go to a YouTube channel called Alex Rainbird Music, and they always put a new playlist every month of either up and coming indie artists or, some good folk music, folk rock, chill music. And I made Cameron and Vivian big fans of indie music in this, to the point where Vivian has made a music playlist all about Cameron.
Oh.
So yeah, it was an interesting dynamic writing teenagers and one that likes the other, but the other has no idea.
Yep.
So the whole friends to lovers trope. But yeah, hopefully I'm not giving too much away. Was that spoilery?
No.
I hope not.
No, I think they'll want more. They'll actually probably push you for more.
Maybe.
Now, Mike mentions that he was thinking about starting to do some TikTok stuff, but he hasn't stuck to it. And I think that's one of the points you were kind of touching on, is that you not only have to stay in your lane, but you also have to be consistent for it to really work for you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an odd time when I'll actually have like 3 videos to post in a day. The fun thing that is interesting with TikTok is you can take someone's video, stitch it, what they call, and then have your reaction to it, or you can kind of run with it, make it funny. And that's even a lot of fun to work with.
Oh, we got
vacation.
Now, BookTube versus TikTok.
I'm not on BookTube.
Okay.
But I should be. Probably.
I've never really followed it. I probably should have, but I never really followed BookTube. But I know that it was kind of the first one out there before TikTok became a thing. And there are a lot of people that still participate in it. Some people just choose YouTube over TikTok for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But
now, my cooking videos are on YouTube.
Okay.
And that's been a lot of fun. I started doing those shortly after COVID hit because I realized people were at home on their phones looking up stuff to make and new ideas, and to use the olive oils and balsamics in video form I hadn't really seen done on YouTube yet. So I thought, hey, why not? And those are fun. I put bloopers at the end of each one.
Bloopers are always the best. I'm
bloopers.
a sucker for anything funny. Yeah.
But there is actually a great booktuber, Scarlett Cole, who wrote Mercury Rises. She's got a lot of I'm trying to remember what genre she does now, but anyway, she does a lot of writing tips and things like that for new writers, or writers like us. Or she does a very good job with them, and even her new season of them are very, very well done. So give her a shout out. Yeah.
Yes.
Very nice. Well, and once you do have a niche and you kind of focus in on, either TikTok or YouTube or whatever, you kind of have to stay there and keep pushing everything in that direction, because if you try and stretch yourself too thin and do everything, you end up with burnout. And I think a lot of people have tried that and have ended up getting to that burnout point where like, I just don't want to do it. I can't do this.
Yeah. I've pretty much abandoned Twitter and Instagram. Instagram, I still get some tags of people who actually just today I got one of someone who bought Dino-Rift. But yeah, Twitter just feels like I'm throwing things into a void and no one touches it.
I didn't even think I was still on Twitter until Katie said, "Oh yeah, you're still posting stuff." I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay."
I
So my auto posts are out there.
I treat Twitter like my playground. I go there just to blow off steam, say stupid stuff, share stupid things. That one is totally not business related or book related anymore. It's just me kind of just enjoying the internet for a little bit. Facebook is where most of the business stuff is done. And then Instagram, I never got Instagram.
I never did.
I share stuff about my kids because I know my family is on Instagram and that's how they see it. So I usually post my kids' activities on there, and occasionally I'll mention book stuff.
I have no idea I have no idea if I have auto stuff to Instagram too.
I'm not on there enough to know either, but your Twitter is definitely there. You post on Twitter like 3 or 4 times a day.
Yes, I do. Well, I have an auto rotation thing, and then I do, every time a day at work, I get something from Smart Brief, and I'll go to the end and do their daily quote of the day, and I'll just put that out there because I'm like, oh, I like that one. But that's about it for, unfortunately, I go out there maybe once a month to see messages and stuff, and I don't get very many. So I'm mostly on Facebook, and my personal profile now is a lot of pretty pictures.
Yes, and I appreciate the pretty pictures. I love those because it's like,
oh, look at this. I need to share it.
There's always so much negativity flowing, and then you see, oh, gorgeous sunset. Oh, that's good. Yeah. Because I know, Rebecca, we cannot do all the things at all the times.
No, we cannot. So where do you work during the day? What's your day job?
So my day job is selling olive oil and balsamic at the Olive Oil Co. in Brantford, Ontario.
Okay.
It's such a great way to actually, you know what? I have sold quite a few books even from there. Of people that walk in and they either don't read but want to support me, or they love to read and they're like, hey, this would probably be really good for me and my kids. So yeah, it's fun. I'm a big foodie, as I said earlier, and to use different flavored olive oils and balsamics is just not only am I helping people make healthier choices, but it's just, you grow such a foodie community, kind of like the book community.
Yeah.
And I love it. I have customers tell me how they use the products, and it just, either way, we're all becoming a big foodie family. So
what's your favorite infused olive oil?
Depends on what I'm making.
Okay.
So yesterday we finished filming a cooking video where we did pork tenderloin with an elderberry dark balsamic.
Ooh.
And we made a kale stem garlic walnut pesto with a basil olive oil. So you put the two together and they just, hey, Margaret, also Ontario. Ontarians unite. And yeah, we have over 70 flavors in the store. So that's why I say it depends on what I'm making, because they're all good for their own thing. Even ones that are underdogs, like we have a lavender dark balsamic. Not everyone's a lavender fan, but when you pair that with a lemon olive oil, it's delicious.
Oh, yeah. Those flavors go very well together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we had a bakery downtown Paris here that they made lemon shortbread cookies.
Oof.
And then they took the lavender balsamic, added it to the glaze on top of the cookies, and they were phenomenal.
Ooh, that does sound good.
They were
I think I need
they
to
did not
drive up
last
to
long.
Ontario for that.
It's been a while since they've made them, but yeah. But we've done over 70 videos now.
Okay.
And I post them both to YouTube and Instagram because we have a big following on Instagram for the store. And there's some things that shock people, like when I used rhubarb in a sauce for chicken. I always see rhubarb in sweet applications, but never savory, unless you look it up. And the way the sauce kind of turned out was almost like a curry.
Ooh,
but it wasn't spicy. You could do that if you want to with our spicy oils. But yeah, it's just like a blood orange flourless chocolate cake. I made that one time, and I brought samples both to the store and our little vendor spot we had in the place, and they were gone by the end of the day.
Not surprised there.
They're gone in 60 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Chocolate and blood orange, that is one of the best pairings. Oh, now you're making me hungry.
Hey,
I might have
that's
to
my
get
job.
ice cream again.
That's my job. There's actually customers that come in the store now and they go, "Is Derek here? Is Derek here?" They're like, "No, it's his day off." They're like, "Okay, good, because or else I'm coming out with the whole store." But I wish I could use my salesman, what I do there, for my books.
I think it's tapping into your passion because you're clearly passionate about good food.
Yeah.
And you're obviously passionate about good stories. So
I'm passionate about good food, that's for sure.
I will show mine.
Combine the two. Join forces.
I just got to put more food in my books. Actually,
Yes.
Dino-Rift was funny because I made a character eat a prehistoric dragonfly.
Oh.
And there may or may not be bad things that happen to them from doing so.
That's a good one.
We got a good question here. Margaret says, how do you decide when it's okay to broach the line? I also write with customers.
It is dicey when you're in the corporate world or in the retail world.
Yeah, the books are up on the front till. So usually when they're getting everything ready and about to leave, they usually see it sitting there. And then they look at me, they look at the book, they see the little sign that has a picture of me beside it. And then they see me up on the TV behind the till doing my cooking videos. And they're like, "Is that you?"
That's nice.
Yeah. Actually, I just released this new book back in August. And they're like, actually, the one girl that was in yesterday, she goes, "How do you find the time?" I said, "Well, I've got my hobbies. It's good to be creative." And after I talked about the book, she said, "You know what? That's really inspiring." Because I'm sure there's people out there that would love to do that, like even write a book or whatever you want to do. If you can inspire people, that is actually my ultimate goal. It's not getting the orange banner. It's not getting on a list. It would be nice, but that's not my goal. It's if I can show people that it can be done, then great.
Yeah.
I want people to know that, it's in them. They can do it.
Yeah, I mean, as far as writing a book, yes, you have to carve time out when you have a full-time job, when you have a family, when you have, all these other obligations. But if you carve a little bit of time out, you shouldn't compare me. You can get it done pretty quickly.
This right here, Mike, you nailed it on the head.
Yep.
It's self-control.
Yep, exactly.
For our audio-only listeners, there is plenty of time if you make time. Got to turn off the video games, the phone, and the Netflix.
And the TikTok.
Great advice from Mike.
The priorities, and you if you have a family, you have to have a very supportive partner. I do, thankfully. Because after work was when I wrote. So, he did a lot as well. So
the self-discipline is the hardest to master. I think we all have the ability to write, but it's that self-discipline That is the
Yeah.
hardest part. You really have to be, crack the whip, turn off the internet, turn off all of the distractions, and go, I'm going to write right now with nothing else happening.
And if people like it, great.
And we're in an easy to distract world. I mean, it's so easy. And I think we've all experienced it. I'm going to write. I'm going to sit down and write. Oh, I need to research this one little thing. And you go off to the internet and then Facebook and then TikTok. And then 3 hours later, you still haven't finished the
rabbit
sentence.
hole.
Yes.
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 Yeah, that's true. No, it's interesting when you get to meet people who, come in for olive oil though, and they go, wait, that's kind of cool. I actually had someone who lives in the Netherlands that was here in Canada for some reason. I'm like, what are you doing here? You should still be there. But because I love the Netherlands, it's beautiful. And they go, actually, I'm part of a book group back home. And she goes, is it on Amazon? Like, where can I get it? And I said, yeah, you can get an ebook on Amazon. She goes, okay, great. And then by the end of that day, I noticed on my KDP list of places where you get your sales, I'm like, hey, Netherlands. So spread the word worldwide.
Yes.
Well, and I think Margaret hit on it earlier that your placement, very nice. And that is a sneaky little way to do it. I mean, look at most retail establishments. They stick stuff up by the register for all those last minute, I need, or that looks interesting while they're waiting in line to pay for their stuff. So sneaky. I like it.
Yeah, I
just got to get all my other books in there.
Yeah, I sneak things in at work every now and then with
nice
people I meet. Oh yeah, I have to go. After work I got to go write, and they're like, "What?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm an author," and it's, as my husband goes, I am, promoting my stuff.
Shameless promo. Hey, just,
shameless promo.
Yeah,
he walks by and yells that in the background.
Mike brings up another good point too. He says, I've learned that the more time I spend away from a project, the harder it is to get back into it. And yes,
very true.
Especially stopping in the middle of the project. Now, if you're stopping at the end to give it breathing room before you edit, that's one thing. But when you cut the momentum, when you're, at the rising action of your story, it's really hard to get that excitement and energy back up again to continue it on.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I find too.
Dedication.
Yeah, I find too the fact that Dino-Rift is doing so well. I think that's also part of my problem, is because I'm feeling, okay, well, everyone's loving this. I've never had this kind of reception before. How do I top that?
Just be you. You just
you
just create the story in your head and have fun with it, because that's what you did with Dino-Rift. So you gotta just love it the way it comes out.
And I do, and I think there's something that I know I have to do and go back into a chapter and actually just kind of expand on it a little bit. But it's almost like the imposter syndrome is really coming on hard with this one. But
the imposter syndrome rises with your popularity.
The real fun thing about this one though is I introduce a dodo bird, because there's not enough dodo birds in fiction.
You're throwing out so many teasers. We're all going to have to read it because we got to know what you're talking about.
There you go. I told one person and he goes, "Can you make them smart?" And I go, "Well, I mean, with research, actually, dodo birds were thought to be pretty intelligent."
That's funny.
And the reason, I did not know this, but apparently the reason why they were also called the dodo was because their call sounded very similar to a pigeon, but it would have been more like
interesting.
So, and if you haven't read my books before, I like to put sound effects in my books. So there may or may not be some in my book.
And how does one spell that?
Just doo-doo. which makes for the comedy and the humor. So at least I hope. But it's true though, like you say, Jane, you got to have fun with it, and I know I got to get back to that and just turn on the tap, let it flow.
Oh yeah, and if you get, lately, as I said before the show, I've started to write 2 books at a time. And I'm switching between them, like when I get stuck here and I'm like, oh, I got to research something, I'll come back to it. And then I jump to, and I'm writing, dystopian fantasy and then paranormal romance. So I'm jumping between them. It's not the same genre. So at least I know the voice is a little different, but it's actually been helping me. And I'm like over 50% done with both of the books that I'm writing right now. It was like, wow, this actually kind of works.
Nice.
And they're both in first person, so that's a good thing. The last time I did it, I had first person and third person, and that was messing me up.
Yeah, that would. I've always liked writing third person omnipresent, where you can actually even be in the characters' heads.
Yep.
And I know that's not for everybody. I know there's some who are very just stuck on first person, and if they read anything else, it just throws them off because to them it's almost like head hopping. But I had someone actually say to me that, and I talked about this in Josh Pantaleresco's interview that I did with him not too long ago, was I know it can be different for people, but the one person said to me that when she was reading it, it was like reading a screenplay.
Okay.
And I thought screenplays would be really hard to write because I've never done one. And she said, no, you're pretty close to something that could be pitched to a movie as a movie. And I was like, what? So you never know. Well,
initially I used to only write in third person. And then I had a challenge in one of the writers groups to write something out of your comfort zone. So I wrote first person present tense. Oh yeah. It was out of my comfort zone. And then with my son, my son and I were writing, it was in first person. But that was first person past tense. And I actually got to like first person more than third person. So, and urban fantasy, a lot of it is in first person, thankfully. But it's, I found that I like it now.
Interesting. I find the hard thing for me with first person is I want to know what everyone's thinking.
Yes. It's very hard not to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, I like
so
the
make
challenge
your
of the
character
opposite.
a mind reader.
Yeah.
I think the opposite challenge. I like the confusion of some character thinking something when it's not actually them perceiving it correctly.
Okay. Yeah. And I think that's why I always like shows and movies that have a broadcast. I like having a fairly broadcast in my books. I mean, Ultimate Agent, by the end of the book, you've got a lot of characters, but Dino-Rift isn't too huge of a cast, but big enough that, I mean, you've got the 2 teenagers, you've got the one character who, is trying to find her dad, and the bad guys, the antagonist, the other antagonist. And I enjoy having that, like even just the journey for each character and knowing what they're going to say or what they're thinking. I always love playing with that.
Yeah, I did an alternating first person, alternating chapters with, different characters in first person. Yeah, I'm always on the dark side.
Actually, I think you've actually gotten lighter over the years.
Actually, I have.
You are not nearly as dark as you used to be.
And that is a conscious effort. I'll put it that way.
Oh, I was just hoping that you had less reason to kill people, because we've talked about it, that it's catharsis for you. If you have a bad day at work, you're gonna go kill somebody in a book.
Yes, I am. What's gonna happen when I retire? I won't have anybody to kill.
Have you gone through all the lists?
No, that's when she's gonna write those wonderful, heartwarming stories that become nice and chicken
not gonna happen.
She won't have anyone to kill anymore.
Does that just mean you've run out of the list of all the school bullies?
Yeah.
I had that girl that said I was inspirational. She said, so like, what made you want to write? And I said, well, when I was a kid, I was bullied a lot in school. And I think it kind of caught her off guard that I said that. Like not a lot of people are open about that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And then I said, and then he met his demise in my second book. And she kind of had a little giggle after that. But it's like, hey, you know what? I'd probably treat him like a human being if I ever saw him again. But for the time.
Yeah, I wrote before that started happening to me. So my dad gave me my first book that I wrote when I was like 7 or 8. It was like an animated dog book, and they all died.
Oh.
At the end, it was just like
that did not go where I thought it was going to go.
We talked about killing dogs. We talked about this.
And when he showed it to me, he was laughing. He's like, you have not changed a bit. He reads everything that I ever wrote. So
Oh.
I love the man. But yes, so.
Yeah. Dino-Rift is actually the first book my mom's ever read of mine from cover to cover.
Oh, okay.
Which she's usually like a John Grisham type reader. So for her to read sci-fi was huge.
Wow.
Yeah, that's good.
And she said it actually made her cry too. So that was valid. That day was validating.
Yes. Yeah.
It was just something about parents and the stuff you make. You want them to be proud of it as you are.
Yep.
And when she said that, I just
in there somewhere. I made my mom cry with this book.
Yeah.
My daughter cried. Well, she begged me to write the high school about my high school time. It was called Silence.
Oh.
And and it was about being bullied and all of that. And I wrote it, and she read it, and she sobbed. She cried, and she's like, "Thank you for writing this, Mom," because she knew it was about me. You know, I fictionalized some of it, but it really was my high school years. So
interesting. There must be that connection because they know it's yours, and you do put a lot of yourself in your books, right?
Oh yeah.
So
whether I realize it or not, my husband has told me, oh yeah, you're in there.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, yeah, I don't know if my dad will ever read my books. He's he's your typical guy that just like goes to the last chapter or the last page. And it's like, no, Dad, read it from the beginning, please.
Yeah, you have to read it from the beginning. Yeah. My dad. Thankfully, my dad is a voracious reader and taught me how to or pass that on to me. My mom, she reads, but she's not, nearly as fast or devouring of books as I am, or my dad. So, but she's read most of my stuff too. So.
Rebecca wants.
Oh, Rebecca.
Are you ready for that, Rebecca?
Let's see what kind of death I have not done in my book.
For our audio listeners only, Rebecca has issued the challenge. She says, I'm going to get on your bad side just so I can have a glorious extreme death. So
she's probably going to regret that.
Challenge has been issued.
Oh, that's good. That's priceless.
And the crowd goes wild.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she's going to be excited to get my next beta read. I think both of them that I'm working on now, she's going to be like, "Ooh, can I see it? Can I see it?"
So speaking of working on 2 at once, because we're almost to the end of the hour here, but when you're changing gears like that, you're saying it's helpful.
Yes.
But have you run into any issues with that, or are the 2 genres close enough that you can slip into the next gear without problem?
I mean, paranormal romance to urban fantasy. I don't know. I don't know if they're close enough. It's a change, and the change is what's making the gears move again. Okay. So if I'm stuck over here, it's like, okay, I don't know where to go next. I need to let it percolate. I'll jump over here where I sort of know where I want to go next with this one. And it just keeps my head moving and keeps me writing. And I have target word things that I need to do because I'm using Story Origin and I have all of that, and I'm exceeding it every time.
Nice.
which is like, ooh, that's good, and then all of a sudden it'll be like, ooh, I got the idea. I know where I need to go for this book, and I'll jump back. So
I'm kind of doing the same thing with that book that I said has the elements of 3 different time periods. I'm writing that at the same time I'm writing the Dino-Rift sequel. But that's sci-fi to sci-fi. The only difference is one is more grounded today. The other is more so in that android takeover dystopian, which I've never done a dystopian before. So maybe I'll sneak back into Band of Dystopian on Facebook.
Yeah, that's a good group. I like those people.
Yeah.
Well, and that's helpful too when you belong to a writer's group or, any group that helps kind of, what's the word I'm looking for here? Support. That can help support you and can help work through issues. I know, like Jane, I contact you all the time when I need a sounding board because I just can't think past what I'm seeing. And that it's so helpful, especially when you get stuck.
Yeah, and I mean, you and Rebecca help me with most of my blurbs because I'll write something, I'll stare at it for like an hour, and then I'm like, I got to have somebody else's eyes, and I'll put it out there, and you'll look at it, and Rebecca's really good at poking holes and things, and I love.
Oh yeah,
I absolutely love her for that. But having those fresh eyes, as you say, or a sounding board to bounce ideas off, helps as well. That helps you get over that hump of, oh my God, I don't know where I'm going. Or is this too extreme? Well, for me, it always is. but you do sometimes need to be tempered or directed.
Can I see it?
And she's always eager to. Rebecca is like one of the best and fastest too. Oh my God, that woman reads so fast. I wish I could read that speed. Like you send her something and an hour later, she's got full notes back on it.
I know. And
how did you do that?
Exactly. And at times I tell her, I said, don't worry about the grammar. This is the shitty copy. This is the first draft. I just need to know if the story works or if I've gone off the rails.
I do that too with beta readers. I'm like, don't worry about the grammar because if I have to fix stuff, that sentence won't exist anymore anyways.
Right.
Just go over the plot. That's what I got to fix this round.
I do have a couple beta readers that I actually send them it chapter by chapter. So it's kind of like they get to watch the TV show episode of the week.
Nice. I like that analogy. Yes.
So they get to read it and go, okay, well, this was awesome. That needs some work. This could probably be a little better. But yeah, they don't focus on the grammar and stuff. It's more just plot and story.
Yep.
So I love having them as part of my team. All my beta readers are awesome because they don't hold back.
Yeah, you need that. You need beta readers who are not just super fans who are just going to love everything you write, but that are actually going to call into question things that need to be addressed, whether characters aren't acting correctly, whether the situation is believable or not, whether you did your research.
Yeah.
You wrote that.
I have a reader also that has a young son, and so she'll read it and let him read it. And I actually like getting that perspective too, because if anything's confusing, then I'll go, okay, well, I guess that needs to be fixed.
Yep. Absolutely.
So, my little bookish family.
Aww.
I reached out to a new beta reader for my Death Chronicles 2 books because I needed somebody who didn't know the characters. Because I needed to make sure that they stood on their own. Because I know the characters so well because I interweave pretty much all my books. and Katie and Rebecca have been introduced to these other characters, and I'm like, I need somebody with fresh eyes that tells me, okay, this confused me. I don't know who these people are. You need to let me know more about them. And she was fantastic. So,
nice.
No, that's good too, because especially like you said, when you write a series of stories where characters are regular feature players.
Yes.
You know them very well. Your regular readers know them very well. But if you bring a new reader in, they've got to be able to get up to speed quickly. And hopefully that will entice them to go back and read the other books.
Right. Exactly.
So you got to hit that perfect balance between too much information and not enough information so that you get them to that intrigued point.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. I even brought in a beta reader that she'd never read my stuff before, but I let her read Dino-Rift because I was at a point in my writing career, if I can't really call it much of a career yet, but anyway, I didn't feel like it was going to be good.
Mm.
You know, you finish a series like The Ultimate Agent and you go on to something different. And you're going, is this stupid? Is it not? But she loved every part of it.
That's awesome.
Which
You're well.
I don't know if that was just for, I don't know. I was in a weird space, headspace at that point.
That's a very normal fear and sense to have when you're switching gears into something totally different, even if it's loosely attached. It's like, oh, is this gonna live up to, you know, what everyone's expectations is this going to be a good story? Am I going to disappoint my readers? Are they going to think he's completely gone off the deep end? You know, such a real fear.
Very different from superheroes to dinosaurs and time travel, which, you know, either people love time travel or they hate it.
Right.
Because to them, time travel has to go a certain way or else it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And time travel can be screwed up very easily too.
Yeah.
And people love to poke holes in time travel theories.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. But.
And Jonesy likes to poke holes in everything. Oh, gotta love you, Jonesy. Rebecca, you always bring the fun to our chat room here.
Always bring the fun to fantastic.
There you go.
Yes. Well, I cannot believe an hour has gone by. That was
already
the fastest hour I think I've experienced.
What?
Yeah. Time is moving
fast.
At warp speed these days.
Oh, yes, it is.
If only we could time travel back to the beginning.
Someday.
At least I know it's Saturday, so that's good
true.
Thing. I know the day.
That's true.
When you said that earlier that it was Saturday, I was like, wait a second, is she right?
What day is it? Right. What time is it?
Yep.
Is it still 2021?
I don't know.
Yes, it is. Yeah. For now. But don't blink.
Yeah, I don't even know where 2020 went. My goodness.
Went, yes.
It's a blur. It's a blur.
Somehow it went by.
The days literally blurred into one another because there was no real change to differentiate the days.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like just one big blob of time.
Yeah, that is a good, accurate description of it.
I agree. Somehow I don't even know how I managed to finish writing Dino-Rift through that time because my creativity at some points were just
absolutely
gone. But it somehow happened. Somehow. I feel like I time traveled just to the release.
Maybe you did.
Maybe I did.
You know that movie? Which movie was it? Adam Sandler with the clicker?
Oh yeah, click.
Yeah. You just hit the button, you fast forwarded, and you landed here.
Yeah. But then I wouldn't have enjoyed the journey.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming back and hanging out with us. We always love bringing you on. You are always welcome back. You know that.
And it's nice to finally meet Jane.
Yes.
For me.
Yes. I can't believe you haven't been on a show with Jane.
Not yet.
I probably had engagements or things that were on the calendar or whatever. I have no idea.
It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure. Yes, absolute.
Well, and congratulations on your new book. I can't wait to hear more about it as it continues to sell like hotcakes and you continue to write the next one.
We'll see when that comes out. I'll hopefully have it maybe early next year.
Okay.
We'll see you then.
Well, we will check back in with you then. And
Sounds good.
For all of our viewers out there, thank you again for hanging out with us. We love you as well. And we will be back next week with another author interview and some more fun commentary from Rebecca in the chat. Until then, have a great week, guys.
Bye.